made a meal of everything, which in part explained why she was here. Mrs. Edwards turned to give Dora a hand. "You can give me that lot, then if you put your foot there, you can get on board quite easily. A bit of practice and you'll be leaping on and off like a young lamb." "I'm not sure about that," said Dora, clambering aboard awkwardly. She followed Mrs. Edwards up the metal step and through a door. "This is the wheelhouse, obviously," said Mrs. Edwards, indicating the huge wheel, "but also the conservatory." Amongst a row of flower pots containing tomato plants and geraniums, Dora also spotted pots of basil and parsley. All these would have to be moved if we ever went anywhere, which, thank goodness, we're not doing. "You get a good view from here," said Dora, looking around her, "and, presumably, lots of sun." "It's a lovely place to sit, I must say. There aren't usually so many barges here, but there are lots of visitors because of the rally. It starts tomorrow." "Oh, have I come at a bad time?" "Not at all. It'll be nice to have some moral support." "Isn't the rally fun, then?" asked Dora. She wasn't sure what a rally involved, but she decided just to go along with anything Joe, Mrs. Edwards, suggested. She didn't feel up to any decision-making herself quite yet. "In a way." Mrs. Edwards was more cautious. "But on Sunday there's a parade of boats, which means you have to let anyone who wants to come and look all over your boat." She looked concerned. "I find the idea of strangers tramping about my home completely hideous. I'll have to have a massive tidy-up." Dora now dimly remembered that her friend Karen's mother had always had a more laissez-faire attitude to tidiness than her own mother. She'd been very relaxed about them making a mess in the kitchen, experimenting with recipes for toffee, fudge, and later pancakes. "Well, of course, I'll help you." "Let's not think about it now. Let's go down and have a glass of wine. I know it's only 5:30, but as far as I'm concerned, the sun's over the yard arm," said Mrs. Edwards. "What does that mean?" "I'm not quite sure, but I do know it means you can have a drink. I think when you've had a long journey, and not a very brilliant time recently, you deserve one, and I have to keep you company." She smiled, and Dora thought what a nice-looking woman she was. Middle-aged, of course, but quite attractive. She returned the smile and followed her landlady down a flight of wooden stairs. When Dora's best friend Karen had called, all the way from Canada, and said, "Go and stay with Mum on her barge," Dora had been diffident. "She won't want me inviting myself to stay. She's had a ghastly time herself. I'll tell her. She must know what's happened anyway. She was invited to the wedding. But she'd love having you. She needs the company. Whatever she says, she must be lonely, and you might be able to stop her getting too eccentric." Dora wasn't nearly as bossy as Karen, and had no intention of trying to put Mrs. Edwards back on the path of conventionality. But as she really needed somewhere to go, she eventually agreed. "Being a social pariah, I don't have much choice," she'd said. "You're not a social pariah. You fell out of love with a man who really was quite boring, and then changed your mind about getting married. People do it all the time. It's no big deal." Dora had spluttered her disbelief. "Yes, it is. We'd been planning this wedding for about 5 years. Not since you were 17, for goodness sake. You only met John when you were 17. It seems like it. I definitely caught my mother with a bride's magazine very shortly after she and Dad met John's parents." Karen had sighed. "And there isn't a soul in the village who isn't best friends with, or related to, either John or me." Dora shuddered at the thought of all those disapproving looks and forthright comments she had left behind. "And as they all say I've broken John's heart,